So my name is Michelle Vlach-Ing. I'm an attorney, and I'm also a client of a midwife. And I usually do prepare things to say, but I have a baby now, so I think I get a bye. Do I get a bye? The two things that came to mind when I was trying to prepare for this speech is what do I think of when I think of my choice to have a midwife? And the first word out of my mouth was choice. You know, I could choose where I wanted to birth, how I wanted to birth. My mother had me back in the 70s, and my sisters and I were born back in the 70s and 80s, and she did not have a choice. You know, her insurance company said she had to go to a doctor, she had to have her baby in the hospital, she had to be laying on her back, and I knew that that position was not going to work for me if it didn't work for my mother. And so before I became pregnant, I was already researching how do I want to give birth, and where do I want to give birth, and who do I want to have my baby. And I was fortunate enough to find information online and educate myself and decide this is how I want to do it. We visited birth centers, we visited doctors, we visited hospitals, and it felt, where we had our baby felt right to me. And I think that is the other thing that I learned in giving birth to a baby. When I was doing my research, I thought that my ideas and what I thought how a baby should be born was the right way and the only way. But in having my baby, I learned that, you know, if someone wants an epidural, if they really thought about it, and then that is the right decision for them. If they want to schedule a C-section, that is the right decision for them. If they want to have their baby on the floor in their kitchen, that is the right decision for them. And so that is what I think everyone here is asking for. We're not saying that everyone needs to go to a midwife. And that is the other thing I wanted to bring up as well with regard to choice, is I am so grateful that my insurance company allowed me to have my baby with a midwife at a birth center. And I think it was very wise of them, because we probably saved them about $6,000 as opposed to going to the hospital and paying for hospital fees. And I'm not here to bash hospitals at all, because like I said, for some people they need a scheduled C-section, or they want a scheduled C-section, and birth is scary. Birth is something different, and it's transformative for women, and if that is what you need to have a healthy baby, then by all means. The other thing that came to mind, and I kept coming back to this, I kept writing down wise women, because the midwives, and I was fortunate to have 5 midwives, 2 certified nurse practitioners, a direct entry midwife, and 2 student midwives. I wanted to help the birth center that I was birthing with educate the women that were coming through their ranks, and so we had 2 student midwives there, and they all had something wonderful to contribute to my pregnancy experience, whether it was advice about how to deal with constipation or how to avoid getting hemorrhoids. And those are the things that are sort of lost when we don't support these wise women who enter the profession of midwifery. And I think, you know, in my opinion, I avoided a lot of complications because of their wisdom that they passed on to me. And so with that said, I appreciate the midwives that came into my life. I appreciated the connections that I've made through knowing people like them. I get to meet people, wonderful people like you. Our daughter was born healthy and happy, and yes, it wasn't, I mean, even we had a great birth, you know, but what I envisioned isn't always reality. But with the thousands and thousands of births that the midwives had attended, they had the experience to deal with the minor, I mean, it wasn't minor complications, there were complications that came up, but they had the ability to deal with it there. And they also had the wisdom to know and tell me, as they've told other people if they needed to transport, when to have a transport. Fortunately, we didn't need that, and everything turned out well, and for that I am grateful. Thank you for your time.